Hi, Jimmy. Thank you for coming back for your second session. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
I know that last week when we connected, we talked about the road rage and some of the things that you were struggling with and the things that really caused you the anger and the aggression to come out. And then I also gave you a task to work on for our next session. Do you remember what you needed to do?
Yep, I remember.
So we talked about having you write down when you got to your location, not while you're driving, but when you got to your location, write down some of the things that you noticed caused your road rage and then what happened during that time. So
Yep.
I want you to tell me about maybe two or three scenarios of what that looked like and kind of what happened.
As far as like last week or like recently, for example.
So like when you went to your last session, that's fine. This is good because that's you should ask that.
Oh,
When we were here for your last session, you we talked about different scenarios with your road rage. And then we said, let's look at your road rage for the week. So from our last session to this session, you were supposed to look at a situation that happened with road rage and what caused you to have the road rage and what happened.
yep. Okay. So I would say from last week, um, the old guy. So looking back now, post road rage, I would say I have more clarity. So I think what caused it was again him being too slow and me being late to work. I think I was more mad when I got to work because I blamed him immediately. And then the second thing would be him just driving too slow. Okay, so actually yesterday something happened, and I look back now and I find it kind of funny now. I think what really helped was having that having kind of keep like a mental dialogue on any road rage that happens. So it was actually a motorcyclist. He I guess I was driving too slow for him, and he sped past me and went in front of me. He gave me the bird. And I kind of laughed it off because I was like, that was I seen myself in his shoes, and yeah, I think that was kind of funny.
So that's kind of a different situation and a different scenario. Before you came in at a first session, you talked about with road rage, speed is something that's a big factor for you.
Yeah.
So in this incident with the motorcyclist, you were driving too slow.
Oh yeah.
What
Yeah.
made you drive too slow? Like, what was the reason for you going slower than you normally do?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't driving too slow. I wasn't driving too fast. I was actually on the highway where all things happen. It was 65, and I was doing 65. I put my car in cruise control, and it was early in the morning, and I guess he needed to be somewhere quick, so he just whizzed past me.
And did this cause you to have road rage, or was it just seeing him and he had the road rage?
Yeah, it was. I didn't get any road rage or anything like that. I think the main thing that happens is when I'm in a rush and I'm being late and where I'm going. That's where I get a little road rage. I get a little angry because in the midst of it, everybody is going slow ahead of me.
Okay, so with the motorcyclist incident, it sounded like you found out kind of what's your trigger when you're
Yep.
driving
Yeah.
is that when someone's going too slow and you are in a rush, that kind of triggers you to have some sense of road rage.
Yep. That's it right there.
So it's not really other drivers that cause you road rage when they go and they speed up in front of you. The road rage happens when
They're going too slow.
they're going too slow and you're in a rush.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we kind of, with the motorcyclist, you kind of found out what the triggers were with that by looking at the motorcyclist
Yep.
situation. What about looking at any of the different situations throughout the week with road rage, did you find anything with maybe like your feelings and emotions? Because last time we did talk about how you get angry. So with the
Mhm.
motorcyclist, you did find a triggering situation. What about any of the emotions or anything that you were feeling?
With the motorcyclist.
Did you reflect on any of like what you would feel if you had road
Oh
rage?
yeah, I reflected immediately, and so it didn't really trigger an emotion. Like I said, I kind of laughed it off a little bit to myself because doing the speed limit on the highway it wasn't it was nothing wrong with that. But for somebody who's in a rush, for example, like myself on a in the morning, and I'm trying to get past somebody, it was more like I felt like the old guy, and I was a motorcyclist. So I think yeah, nothing was really triggered. Again, I just laughed it off because I found like this. It was kind of silly to do to have like to react how I reacted. Looking back now.
If you had to rate your anger and your frustration for your road rage before you looked at it this week, what do you think your anger would have been? So, like with the old man, what was the scale for that?
On a scale out of what?
0 to 100.
I'm 1,000.
Okay. And then with the motorcyclist, you reflected back. So, what would be your anger scale with that?
0.
Okay. So, really kind of thinking back to a situation with a motorcyclist and comparing it to the old man, what do you think was different?
Say that again. Actually, again.
Okay, so let me reword it because I think that was kind of a complicated question. You had the old man the first week,
Yep.
and then this past week, you had the motorcyclist.
Yep.
What do you think was different compared to the two?
Uh, what was different? I would say it was the situation. Um, with the again with the motorcyclist, I was the old guy, and I was a motorcyclist. With the old man, I was the motorcyclist, and he was obviously the old man. So that's pretty much about it.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you in a different way. With the old man, you were angry and frustrated.
Yep.
With a motorcyclist, how were you feeling?
Nothing.
And what do you think was different? Why were you feeling different about the motorcyclist?
Well, again, at the time, I wasn't. I was going to work. I wasn't in a rush because I seemed to be on time. There was no traffic on the highway. And I was doing 65 in the 65, and he needed to be somewhere. So I mean, he went from 65 to like 80 or 90 within a matter of seconds. So I guess he needed to be in a rush somewhere.
Okay, so you did say that you reflected back on
Maybe he
that.
was running late to work. You know what I mean? He was probably running late to work. You
It's very
know?
possible.
Oh yeah.
So you said that you reflected back and you realized that the triggering situation was being late and on time.
Yep.
Let's again look at like your emotions and how you were feeling. With the old man, you were angry. So when you were working with a motorcyclist and you were reflecting back on your emotions, you said that it was kind of silly being as frustrated as you were. Why do you think it was so silly? You gave me the example with a motorcyclist, and you it gave you the ability to kind of reflect back on the situation with the old man. And I think that's really great because it kind of gave you the realization like, okay, I go really fast with road rage, and it's when I'm late and I need to go to work that causes the issues.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are some of the things that go through your mind when you feel the frustration when you're late and someone causes you to be late?
But it's more of I get tunnel vision. Everything else does not matter except my destination where I need to be at. If I'm running late and I'm on a mission, nothing else matters but me getting to that destination. If somebody is driving the speed limit, if somebody is going faster or slower, it does not matter. I think when I'm on the left lane, the fast lane, and I mean, that's what it's there for. Like I mentioned in the last session, that that's what it's there for. If you can't do this, if you can't go above the speed limit on that lane, then you shouldn't be there.
Okay, so let's go back to the motorcyclist. You answered with the old man, you were angry and frustrated.
Yep.
So with the motorcyclist, what was the emotion? Fuck. With the motorcyclist, what was going through your mind and what emotion did you feel?
Total opposite. Less anger. It was more. If anything, I was more shocked because he kind of just caught me by surprise. But other than that, besides a little shocked, it was nothing. I wasn't angry. I kind of decided to myself like, maybe he needs to go somewhere. You know what I mean?
So with the motorcyclist, when did it happen earlier in the week?
Yep.
Do you think that with that situation, it changed kind of the rest of the motion for the rest of your week of driving to work?
Nope. No. I think I was pretty self-aware. Um, I mean, between the old guy and the motorcyclist, it kind of gave me just more awareness of like what really happens out on the road. I mean, obviously we need to pay attention, but we also need to control that emotion. I mean, it's hard. It's easier said than done, but
Yeah.
between Grandpa and Speed Racer, I think I did all right.
Did you change anything with like your route to work, leaving before work? Did you change anything in your routine to actually go to work?
Oh no, I'm still on that same road. Yep.
Okay, Jimmy, thank you so much for working on doing that this week.
Yep.
It sounds like you had a good time of reflecting and kind of figuring out what your triggers are. This week, I think I would like you to continue to work on that and maybe find out if there's anything in addition to the speeding and the anger. It did seem like you didn't have any road rage with the motorcyclist, but you also said that you didn't run into any other situations.
Yep.
So maybe we should do one more week of reflecting back on what kind of happened with the situations and what it looks like for you. This is called the thought process model. So I want you to write down what got you upset or how you were feeling, what it looked like, and what we said is what your thoughts were going on with the emotion that you felt, and then also the ratings of like your anger. So like, is it 1 to 100, and if it changed at all from the old man. Okay,
Okay. What if I forget some?
that's okay. If you forget some, that's totally fine. If you could just bring at least maybe like one or two situations, that would be most important.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you, Jimmy. If you don't have any questions, I look forward to seeing you and connecting with you again next week.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye.
Bye.